Cookie, how you doing? I'm good. Let me turn this down. Oh, came on here for 15 minutes to see how everybody's doing and give y'all my thoughts on the Avatar movie that I just seen. Yeah, a little bit of this and this liquid IV. Oh, that's what I added to my drink earlier. Oh, that's why I was messed up. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that. Oh, that's why I was messed up earlier. Oh, I shouldn't have drank that. This is green oolong tea, and I added a little bit of liquid IV to it. I shouldn't have did that because this stuff will have you going to the bathroom. Yeah. It is Monday, Martin Luther King birthday. How you doing? Oh, you can't hear for the advertisement? I know you did. I'm going to wait till a few more people come in here. And I don't want to repeat myself over and over again. Yeah, I went to go see that movie. I have some thoughts. I got some thoughts. I got a lot of thoughts. Lots and lots and lots of thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, it was something else. It was something else. No. I went with a friend and went to see it. That's where I went. I went to, and I didn't go to the regular movie theater. I went to a more upscale movie theater. Cookie probably know this movie theater called Flicks Brew House. Have you ever been there, Cookie? The Flicks Brew House is out in Carmel. It's a movie theater. They serve food and drinks. I ain't buy no food now. I didn't buy no drinks. I didn't do that. I don't know if that's a requirement. I don't like the setup, to be honest, because there's no attendant at the front. Anybody can walk in, which I don't like. I don't like that anybody can walk in, just walk through. Nobody's checking nobody's ticket. None of that. I don't understand that kind of energy. I don't know why they would make a place like that where there's nobody checking nothing. It's very weird. I'm like, who's checking the tickets? Nobody. Nobody's checking no tickets. You just walking in. Very, very strange atmosphere. Yeah, they have a bar up front, so you can sit there and drink beer at the bar, and you can go inside the movie theater, watch a movie or whatever, and then they bring you food to your table, if you order food or drinks or whatever, and watch the movie. So you watch the movie and eat at the same time. But from my experience being there previously, the food is all right. It's not that great, to be honest. But the tickets are cheap. The tickets are cheap because they thinking you want to buy all their food. And the food, to me, is not that great. I've had it before. I didn't care for it. It's an all right place. I mean, your kids might like it. Somebody's kids might like going there. Some man who likes to drink gallons of beer might like going to that place and watch a movie, but that wasn't my cup of tea. Okay, that's not my cup of tea. But anyway, I went to go see the Avatar movie. I went to go see it, and the runtime is 3 hours and 15 minutes. This movie is directed by James Cameron. And I think he also directed the Titanic movie, if I'm not mistaken. Titanic, and what else did he do? Where is my iPad? Oh, let me look up his credentials before I go in. Let me look up James Cameron credentials before I go in on James Cameron. Hold on a second. I can't remember offhand. the movies he has made. Here we go. Yes, he's made Avatar. He's made 3 Avatar movies. Titanic, True Lies, The Abyss, Terminator 2, Alien movie, Piranha. Now he's made some decent movies. He has made some decent movies, James Cameron, okay? James Cameron has made some decent movies, but to me, he hasn't, his biggest movies are Avatar, Aliens, and Titanic. Those are his biggest movies. So, he's a good director, but there's something amiss in his writing. In his writing, there's something that is amiss there, and it needs to be talked. I am not sleep talking. I'm talking about James Cameron and this Avatar movie that I seen tonight. Now, I have several problems with this Avatar movie. First of all, it's 3 hours. 3 hours and 15 minutes of holding your urine, holding your pee for 3 hours and 15 minutes. My God. Hey, Ward, how you doing? I sat in that movie there for 3 hours and 15 minutes listening to a storyline that he already did in the first one. Okay? The same storyline. The same storyline. I don't need a mod. I'm not going to be on here that long. I ain't had no popcorn. You know why I didn't have no popcorn? You know why I didn't have anything? Because I had to pee. I didn't want to have to get up and have to go pee. You know what I mean? I had to use all my concentration skills on not going to go pee in the middle of this movie. And plus I had there was a couple beside me. Right, there you go, Ward. The story is the typical story that they always tell in these movies. You know what I mean? It's always somebody being, there's an oppressor, somebody being oppressed, okay, and not wanting to, and has to fight against the oppressor, tooth and nail, to fight, to save their land. I don't know what America is obsessed with movies about, taking people's stuff, taking people's land. I went with a friend. Taking people's land. You know what I mean? This kind of movie has been told over and over and over again. There's no surprises. I think that either for some reason, some of these people that make movies are not thinking that their audience can handle more tougher subjects or something. Or maybe they think everybody all dumb and we can't handle, real some better storylines. I don't understand. Who you over? Why you in my business, oh? Why you in my business? But anyway, I don't know why he can't understand that we need to move past that storyline. It's getting old. That whole I don't even have to say spoiler alert, but I'll say spoiler alert in this conversation for context. So if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, you might as well scroll past this video or exit out of this live stream. But hey, Kathy, how you doing? But Avatar movie is basically these people still fighting for their land, still fighting, to have their own thing going on, and these people want to take their shit. That's all it is. They want to take their shit, and that's all it is about. And then one of them, it seemed like in every movie he make about this avatar, it's always one person who's singled out that's having an issue, and they overcome their issue, and then they seen as a hero. Okay, they seen as a, oh my God, yes, we accept you. Okay, that's what he got going on. It's always somebody got a problem, and then they are singled out, and then they overcome, and then it's a kumbaya moment at the end. That's the whole movie wrapped up in 2 minutes. Okay, that's the whole movie. The whole movie. I went to go see Avatar. Oh, where Jay at? Oh, I don't know. But I think that he needs to, as much years, the last Avatar movie was 2022. 3 years later, that's the best storyline he could come up with. And I'm very disappointed from a man that made one of the greatest movies, which is Titanic. How can you give us the same storyline over and over and over again? It makes absolutely no sense. Either he thinks the audience is not smart enough or something. There's something going on there. Why do you think the audience is not smart? And why isn't there a solution? Why is it the people still trying to take these people land? Where is the solution to the problem? Where is the solution? You leave the movie without a solution. There's no solution in the end. It's like it's going to be this constant fight of these people trying to take over their land. It makes no sense. Where is the solution? I'm very confused with this whole James Cameron movie. Can you read me a bedtime story? I'm not reading no bedtime story. Thank you, Ward. So Avatar movie gets a 3 out of 10 for me. A 3 out of 10. I give it a 3. He could have done better. He had 3 years to make the best. He had 3 years to make the best movie ever. And what he did was waste a lot of people's time. Because 3 hours, I had to hold my pee for 3 hours in that movie theater. I'm not happy about that. I could have been at home on Netflix. Those kind of movies, 3-hour movies, belong at home on your TV screen. They belong in the comfort of your own home. We are not built to share space among each other with strangers for 3 hours. You send me a super chat. What is that? I don't have those abilities. Oh, that movie needs to be at home on Netflix. That's it. That's the only place it deserves is Netflix. It don't deserve to be in no movie theater. I don't know who greenlit that. He had me wait 3 years. 3 years for the same story. Shame on him. He could have went so many directions with that movie. No, Big Will. No, the bougie theater didn't help none with the experience. I was exhausted. I was tired from watching it, and it was a lot of unnecessary. A lot of the story was just unnecessary. I know they did Ward. I know there's some people in Africa who look just like those avatars. I mean, identical. the dressing that they wear, how tall they're. At first, I'm like, ain't nobody over Africa that tall. Yes, they are. There are people in Africa that freaking tall, beautiful people, and they are not being properly acknowledged in their movie. That's the one. They didn't get no guidance from those people about their traditions and stuff. They didn't get no guidance. They just said, "Oh, this is what we think that these people act like, talk like, are like. This is what we think these people are." And it's very sad. It is very sad to have a movie and you're not going to go to the source to depict them in the correct way. So the movie is is better. Ask them about oppression. I'm pretty sure they could tell you a better story about some oppression. But I just think the story could have been written a lot better. It was not written. It wasn't written very well. I mean, it was written good for that repetitive storyline, but we need to move past that. There's got to be a solution at the end of this. It can't be constantly oppress, 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 take these other people land and stuff. What is the solution? Where is the solution? So, you know, you guys out there in the world, y'all need to push these directors and creators to expand their mind, to really understand culture, and talk to people who are a part of those cultures that they want to write about, instead of just making stuff up in your mind. You just making stuff up in your mind, what you think, or what you think these people are, and not going to them and asking them. It doesn't make any sense. You love that movie? I mean, it's an okay movie. It just the storyline. He does the same storyline over and over again, and to me it just doesn't make any sense. Tell the truth. That's what I'm talking about, war. Tell the truth. That's what I'm talking about. Just tell the truth. And you know what the thing is? I think, for some reason they think people, especially black people, because this is mainly a story of black people. If you didn't know, it's black people that is those characters. And for some reason, these people have in their mind that these people are going to attack them, or black people are going to attack them in some type of way. Sometime we're going to attack. Black people are not interested in attacking people. Black people want to be left alone, and able to just live their life. That's it. Very simple. Very simple. That's all black people want, is just to live. Live and, be able to wake up, fix some pancakes, go walk at the park and not be harassed and bothered. Go ride a bike down the road as you watch the sunset, and have fun. Be able to laugh, and not somebody tell you, be quiet. Why are y'all laughing? Why are y'all happy? What are you doing? Somebody surveilling you. We've been under surveillance for our whole life. So this idea of all these companies and all this stuff, they talking about they want to surveil you and all this kind of stuff. Black people been under surveillance our whole entire life. The whole life. Hello, Gladiator. How you doing? Been under surveillance your whole life. I've had so many people follow me around the store. I've been protected my whole. I've been feeling like I've had personal security my whole entire life. Every time I go somewhere, somebody looking over, trying to see what I'm doing. You know, I've been feeling safe my whole entire life. There you go, Ward. There you go, Chelsea. Yeah, we just want to be free to just live. I don't know, understand why people can't understand that. Nobody's going to do what was done to us. What was done to us was atrocious and horrible and horrific. And who would want to repeat that? Nobody want to do that. Nobody want to do that. I'm not collecting statues of people and putting them in my house. Little caricatures of people. I'm not doing that. That sounds crazy. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that crazy stuff. I'm not trying to put fear in people and all this kind of stuff and do horrible things. No, we not interested in that. We just want peace. Real peace. I don't know how to even frame it, word it. Peace. That's it. It's very simple. Simple concept. You know, we ain't trying to take everybody's job. We just want a job. You know what I mean? We ain't trying to take everybody's job. We want a job. Because you need a job to survive here. You need some kind of income to make it. You know what I mean? That's it. We don't want everybody's house. We just want a home to live in, to lay your head in. You know, get some pillows, some good comforters. That's it. Very simple. Very simple concept. I don't know why people can't understand that. I just really don't understand that. You know, I don't know what the fight is. I don't know what the argument is. I don't know what is going on. How can you hate people that just want to laugh and go to sleep and lay down, wake up, eat pancakes? Go to sleep, wake up, go play basketball at the basketball court. Wake up, go to sleep, and work at a restaurant. Serving the community food. What's so hateful about that? Right, there you go, Will. Just a regular movie. We don't need politically motivated. We don't need to hear that story over and over again about oppression and all this. It's time to think bigger. Come to a resolution. What's the future look like if we all get along? If everything's at peace? If we all get along, everything. I want to see movies go in that direction. Not this person seen as just to help, or this person, you know, she's not a lead character. Her character is some low wage paying person, and she got to climb. She got to work so hard to climb to the top and all that kind of stuff. Why? Why? There you go, Ward. What if those roles were reversed? There you go, Chelsea. Yes, yes, yes. There's too much evil in the world, and people are just now waking up and realizing that the people that are around them are evil. I seen a video. Woman said, I have just come to the realization that some of the people I've known for years that support all the stuff that's going on, they are really evil. Yes, they are evil. They are evil. Anytime you wake up every day and you ask yourself, how can I hurt other people today? How can I make somebody's life miserable? How can I make myself feel good about myself and make everybody else miserable? What can I do? How can I go out of my way today to make somebody's life a living hell? How can I do that? Black people don't sit around and think about that. I don't sit around here thinking about how I can oppress people, make people miserable. You know, what can I do to mess somebody's life up? I don't sit here and think about that. I'm sitting here thinking about When Jill Scott come out with her new album, you know, am I gonna listen to that on repeat? Am I going? Which song am I going to like? That's what I'm thinking about as a black person. I'm thinking about that Jill Scott album and tour. Hey, woo woo, how you doing? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Jill Scott. I'm not thinking about so and so over here, so and so over here. I don't spend my time gossiping about people outside of my realm. I don't care what you do. That's your business. I just want to be at peace. I want to be able to walk around in peace. That's it. That's it. That is it. That's the I don't even know how we get to that point. I don't know how we can I don't know who we got to talk to, or do we need to have a whole convention of just, hey, I just want to be able to ride around and not be judged before you even hear me talk. I just want peace on earth. I want to be able to go in the grocery store, you know, pick up a fruit that I ain't never had before and, you know, put it in my basket, you know, and not somebody come up to me and says, you know, and I've had this happen. Oh, it looks like you've never had that fruit before. Ma'am. And then her husband proceeded to pick up the fruit, put it in his mouth, and stick it back in the fruit bin. She looked at him. I looked at her. She looked at me. She looked at him. She said, you can't do that. He said, I can do whatever I want. And he left that piece of fruit that he had in his mouth in that bin. And I walked away. I walked away. I said, this is too much for me. I want to be able to go in the store in peace. Walk around in peace like everybody else. I want to walk around in peace. You know? I want to just be able to laugh in peace. I want to be able to wear my hairstyles like I want to without somebody asking me some crazy questions. That's it. That's it. And I wish y'all could spread that message to all y'all friends and family or whoever, you know. Just want peace. Just want something to eat. Somewhere to lay our head. And be able to laugh, listen to music, dance, have fun. That's it. That's the only thing black people want. It's called equality. Just be treated the same like everybody else. Very simple. Very simple concept. You live in a sundown town. Hell, we live in a sundown town too. I think we still got that alarm that goes off every Friday at 11 a.m. I don't know what that's about, but it has something to do with that sundown town stuff. But I'm just trying to understand. If y'all can help spread the message of talking to y'all people about there's no reason to be in fear. There's no reason to be upset. You know, because when a company decide to cut people off a job, I mean, most of the time, they don't care what color you are. When they ready to lay off, they laying off. Period. When they ready to lay off, they laying off. It don't matter if you pink, orange, green, or brown, or purple. It don't matter. When they ready to lay off, they ready to lay off. It don't matter. You can't blame one person or another. It is what it is. When they get ready to do that, it's over. And you can't be mad if you're not where you want to be in life. You know what I mean? You can't get mad at everybody else. Sometimes you got to do some self-reflection. Sometimes it's you that's keeping you from getting the things you want. Not in all situations, but sometimes it is. Sometimes all the opportunities could be laid out in front of you and you still do something wrong. You still go in a whole nother direction. Whose fault is that? Right now, groceries are very expensive, okay? Very expensive. You have to choose wisely. There is right now, your cheapest thing to buy. You was a drug and lost it. Dang, ooh, Chelsea. Oh, you made it through, girl. Right now, the cheapest thing to buy is just like some chicken thighs. And I see people at the grocery store pass up the raw chicken thighs. They pass them up. They walk right past them. And they go to the processed food, the little dino nuggets and, the french fries and all that stuff. That stuff costs more. I was in the store. They had chicken thighs, a whole pack of them. Fresh chicken thighs for $3. You got like 5 of them. 5 chicken thighs for $3. You buy 2 or 3 packages of those. You can make all kind of meals with the chicken thighs. I brought me a couple packets of chicken thighs. I made all kind of stuff. I had a good time. When I seen that price, I said, oh, these people ain't cooking. Oh, y'all not cooking the chicken? Let me get this chicken. And I got the chicken. They had some pork chops in there, a whole pack of pork chop, $5. Got that too, because y'all not buying it. I brought it, brought the chicken, brought the pork chop. I brought all that stuff. There you go, Chelsea. There you go. Not the Instapot. Yes. You know what I mean? If you can't cook, get you a crock pot. Put all your stuff in a crock pot and call it a day. You know what I mean? These people sometimes they're upset at the wrong thing. You upset at people instead of taking some accountability. Accountability is a big word that people need to start using more often in 2026. Accountability. Okay, accountability. We know groceries are high. You can't play their game. You cannot play their game. You have to go towards a different solution. Buying stuff that's affordable. Not buying stuff that's out of your range. Because those people need to learn a lesson too. The grocery people need to learn a lesson too. Like, you can't price us out. If y'all keep buying the dino nuggets at $15 a bag, they going to stay $15 a bag. They never going to go down. That stuff never going to go down. It's not going to go down at all. If people continue to buy it and then complain, it makes no sense. So if you're not where you are in life, you know what I mean? It's about choices. It's about opportunity. It's about, are you taking advantage of those opportunities before you? Once you turn 18, you really can't turn around and blame. You can blame some things on your parents, but when you turn a certain age, you can make decisions for yourself and move in a certain way. Just because your parents denied you this and that, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you gotta eat, if you gotta feed them chicken nuggets now Chelsea, now the easiest thing to do is to take some chicken, ground chicken, mix it with a little bit of egg and some seasoning, and pat them out just like chicken nuggets, and put them in the oven. Chicken nuggets. You could dip them in some batter if you want to. Dip them in. You could use pancake mix batter. Dip them in some batter. Put them in the oven or fry them on the stove. Whatever. You know what I mean? Chicken nuggets. As we all forget that the things they put in the bag can also be duplicated at home easier and cheaper. You can make way more chicken nuggets. But I understand sometimes you don't want to do all that, and that's fine. But people just can't complain about the price. If it's $15 and y'all keep buying it, it's gonna stay that way. Good morning, David. Morning. What? It's 10:28 p.m. Where you at? But people need to be, hold themselves accountable for the things that happen and go on in their life. I hold myself accountable for whatever goes wrong in my life. I can't look left nor right about things that's going on, because some of that stuff is my own choices. My own choices is the reason why I'm at this stage in life, or this stage in life, and this stage in life. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, a lot of people, and there's people out here who are not aware of their opportunities. They I don't know what they think somebody gonna come and tell them the secret when they gotta go find the secret for themselves. Hey, Porch, how you doing? Yeah, breadcrumb and fry. There you go. See, you thinking. And it's healthier when you fix it yourself. You get more out of the product, and it's healthier. You ain't gotta worry about no extra chemicals and all that in the damn chicken. There you go, Ward. There you go. I think Martin Luther King said this is a good thing. This is a good day to bring it up on his birthday. The reason why the school is so important is because your mama, your daddy can be drug addicts at home, can't have their stuff together, but the school is where you can become whoever you want to be in life. You know what I mean? That's why teachers are so important. They have such an influence, because sometimes your home life ain't right. Your parents may not treat you right, but at school, you're going to get the care that you need to keep going. You're going to get the education you need to be better than your parents. You know what I mean? Hey, Lynn, how you doing? Yeah, there you go, Chelsea. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When I used to work at the school, there are those kids, some of them have horrible home life. Horrible. And so the school would do everything in their power every day to make sure, they ate breakfast, they ate lunch, and even some of those kids would stay for dinner. You know what I mean? Some of those kids, they would send teachers to their home to help teach them when their parents wouldn't bring them to school. Send a teacher to the home to teach the kid. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. They would go out their way to do that stuff. And them kids came out better because of that love and that care. And now you hear today, the teachers want to quit. They don't want to do it no more and all this, which is kind of sad, but I understand. That's a lot. That's a lot to be going through. But Martin Luther King said teachers are important. Teachers are important. And just because you got a parent that ain't right, don't mean you don't deserve a good education so you can have a good outcome for your own life. You know what I mean? Because that may be the main thing that holds yourself together so that you can get through this. Just having that teacher in your life. You know what I mean? Teachers are important. Even though they don't let teachers teach like they used to. You know, they got these administrators that try to control the curriculum and all this kind of stuff, which is ridiculous. They won't let teachers be teachers, which is sad. Very sad. Yeah, there you go. The teachers are watching their clothes. It's just a lot. And that can be overwhelming for the teacher. You know what I mean? Doing all of that, trying to make sure, doing the most, trying to make sure that child feel okay, feel welcome, their head is clear so that they can do the homework and stuff. You can't do homework if you're hungry. You can't do homework in class if you're thinking about all the chores and the stuff you got to do at home because your mama is on drugs or your mama be acting crazy or your mama is a narcissist or something like that. There's a lot of kids that live with parents that are straight up narcissists and gaslight them every time they get home from school. You got older siblings that have to do the most work in the house and go to school. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot. But the bright side is when you get older and you turn 18, you can go and live the life that you want to. But are there going to be some challenges? Of course. Because you're not coming from, a place of stability. So you got to go and work towards that better life. It's going to be very difficult sometimes. It's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to do a lot of networking, reaching out to a lot of resources so that you can get to a place of peace and not chaos. So you can, alleviate some of that trauma once you get your safe space. It is hard. It is hard when you get out of school. They don't, for me, they're not preparing them enough. They're giving them surface level stuff. Yeah, I see your comment. They're giving them surface level stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go. There you go, Chelsea. You teach them at home. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? That to me, they don't do enough to prepare the kids for the world. They prepare them for a summertime job. That's as most as they prepare them for. A summertime job at McDonald's. That's it. Not a real job. And not understanding once some of these kids turn 18, they need to be able to escape their home. They need to be able to escape the home that they live in because it's hell. Because it's a bitch if you turn 18 and you still have to stay at home with the parents that are giving you hell. There needs to be programs to help kids when they are junior and prepare them to help them get a career, get a job, a real solid job, and help them get into their own place, their own apartment, whatever. Especially if they're dealing with parents that are not stable, in and out of jail, got a whole bunch of problems, always fighting, always domestic violence and craziness and stuff like that. When they a junior and you've been watching this kid for years, when they a junior, that should start the ball rolling to getting the job, securing the college, securing the dorm, or whatever the school need to do. That's what the school should do to ensure that kid, when they turn 18, ain't got to return back to their crazy ass house. You know what I mean? That's where our money should be going to. That's where our tax dollars should be going to programs that support getting those kids into to their own homes so they can have a safe space. So they ain't got to deal with the trauma of trying to go back home at 18 dealing with a crazy family. That's where our money should be going to be honest. I'm all for tax money going to children that need to be pulled out of stressful, horrible situations, period. Not just foster care. Not just foster care. You know what I mean? I don't know much about foster care, but I guess it's okay, but a lot of those people are in it for the money. They're not in it for the kids. I got a problem with that. But if we could create a program to pull those kids when they in their junior and help them build up so that they can get into a safe space of their own, that would be great. Tax dollars can go to that. I'm all for it. Tax dollars can go to free lunch. I'm all for that. Them kids need to eat. Why deny the kids food? Ain't nothing more embarrassing going in the lunch line and you ain't got no money to buy your food. And then the lunch lady tell you, you don't have no money on your account. You know how depressing that is? You know how embarrassing that is to be standing in that lunch line and you ain't got no money in your account? You know how embarrassing that is? I've been a kid. I know. I've had that happen. You know how embarrassing that is? And these people, these grown people, act like they ain't never been children before and been in school and seen a kid that didn't get their lunch because they didn't have no money. Everybody's been a kid before. You've seen that before. You've seen kids sit with no lunch. Or some schools have some type of empathy and give them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a milk. That's all they get, which is crazy. Let me see what you. Mm-hmm. I don't know about bringing church in school. I don't know about that. But I do know that we do need more mentors in school. We need more people who have been successful, who have made it to talk to the kids and inspire them and actually give them a blueprint on how to go from bad grades to good grades. Not just say, just do your homework. Just do your homework, you'll be fine. How? How can I do my homework when my mama is at home on drugs, overdosing, and I gotta feed my sister and my brother? How can I be successful if I gotta be a mama to my own mama. I gotta be a mama to my sister and brother. How can I be successful if I'm going through that? And then I'm growing up as a girl. And there's so many things I gotta pay attention to within my own body. And I can't even do that because I gotta do XYZ. Make it make sense. Are you a boy and you fail in your classes and they trying to tell you about, well, you can play a sport. You can play a sport, but what if you're not good at that sport? What if you don't like that sport? What if you get injured one day? You're gonna need something to fall back on. You know what I mean? You got to have something to fall back on. And how can you concentrate on homework as a guy in school when you got family problems? And you got to watch your mama get beat up. Then you got to fight your daddy once you get big enough because he beating on your mama. Then you traumatized. You can't even think straight because you think about your mama getting beat up. Yeah, I think any type of mentorship is great, Chelsea, whether it comes from church or not. I just don't know about really pushing a whole bunch of religious stuff in the church. I mean, in the school. But mentorship, if it's a mentor and they happen to be a part of a church and they doing good work and they really changing people's lives, and I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Dang, Ward. That's good though. Keep fighting the system. Right. We used to have after school programs when I was younger. A lot of them. Kids had somewhere to go after school. And I don't know why grown people are against that. You used to be children yourself. Didn't you want to go somewhere after school instead of just going home, looking at the walls? Right. Right. Need better role models all the way around, period. I feel so sorry for the kids out here these days. They're going through a lot of identity issues, mental health crisis. You know, they're not telling their parents, what they dealing with every day. They're not telling you anything. You just find out one day when they decide they don't want to be here no more. And that's unfortunate because you see them every day and you think everything is fine and it's not. These kids stressed out. They stressed out on what's going on in the world, what these adults are doing to the world, the back and forth, the constant fighting and fear and craziness. What do you think all this craziness that these adults are doing out here in the world is causing to these children? Social media used to be a fun place, and now it's turned into a lot of drama, chaos, craziness, toxic behavior from other teenagers, just straight up craziness. The trolling has went to a level of 1,000. So these kids are dealing with just a lot of stuff. And I know people say, well, you have a roof over your head, you got food to eat, there's nothing wrong with you, blah, blah, blah. That's a wrong thing to say. That's a wrong thing to say to a kid that's dealing with a whole bunch of stuff that you have no clue about. Yeah, that generational stuff can just spill over, into the next year, the next generation, the next generation, the next generation. And it's important that you stop it. I had on one side of my family, they kind of all the same. They will do bad things if they have to. That kind of energy. They do all kind of crazy stuff, all kind. But you know what? What? I'm on my live stream.
Can I cook this bread?
Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, on my family side, they do some crazy stuff. But it took, and they had all these kids after kids after kids after kids after kids. And then one day, well, I mean, years later, the grandkids started to break from that constantly having kids and all that. So now the grandkids are just educated. They live on their own. They ain't got all them kids and stuff like that. They different. It took a minute for them to recognize what was going on in the family. And they said to themselves, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to continue that pattern. And so they moved away from that. They moved away from that whole thing. But it took them seeing, I don't know if they were seeing the other side of the family, how the other side has got this and got that. I don't know. I don't know what made them go to school and all this kind of stuff, but they probably looked at them and was like, y'all got a lot of kids. I don't want to have all these kids and, continue this stuff. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it takes a lot to develop that thick skin and confidence. So these kids ain't with it. They ain't got it. They are very sensitive about every single thing, and it's because you got family that hasn't well, I say sensitive, but at the same time, some of this stuff as adults we have to unlearn. You know what I mean? Sometimes we call the kids sensitive to this and that, and some of this stuff because we were built for tough. You know what I mean? We grew up tough and all this kind of stuff. And some of that stuff really wasn't acceptable, but we took it anyway and was just like, well, that's just life. That's how it goes. That's it. That is what it is. And we just took it. In reality, we probably shouldn't have, taken certain things or dealt with certain things. We should have just, rejected all these crazy things that people would say to us or whatever. Hey, Survivor, how you doing? So sometimes some of the things that some of the younger kids nowadays are dealing with, sometimes we have to say to ourselves, you know what? Maybe they are right. Maybe that is a sensitive thing, and maybe I shouldn't, make light of it, or maybe I should understand it better because a lot of us grew up very hard. Oh, from East Africa. Hey, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Oh, everybody's great. Everybody's great. So we over here having a talk in regards to Martin Luther King Day, about peace, about accountability, about caring about each other, about caring about the kids, caring about the people. Yeah, They're supposed to take care of their families and have children. Well, that idea is going out the window. Okay, that idea is going out the window. Cause don't nobody want to sit around and have a million kids and all this kind of stuff. That's too much. That's too much on the woman's body, the women's mental. When women have a whole bunch of kids, they mind disappears a little bit by little. The mind just disappears. These young girls don't want to have no whole bunch of kids, a million kids. Our channels relate to each other. We do. That's what I'm talking about, Chelsea. That's what I'm talking about. My grandma, she worked her job. She was a wife. She worked her job. But she was a woman who cooked and cleaned and to raise kids at the same time. But her life was different because my grandpa took care of everything, and her job was to, make the house a home. And that's what she did. She made a house with a home with her money. And he paid all the bills and everything and all that. And she didn't sit there and pop out a million kids. She had 3 kids. That was it. Zip, zip, done. That's it. She didn't have a whole bunch of kids. She had 3, called it a day. And that's it. Now, these young girls, they don't want to do it. They don't even want to have 3 kids. They only want to have, I don't even think they want to have 1 kid. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of unlearning that we all have to do as adults. And hopefully, your kids will help you guide you in the right direction of that unlearning. Because when they say, hey, you shouldn't say that, or hey, da da da, listen to what they saying, and don't just brush it off as, oh, you too sensitive or this or that. Don't brush it off. Just listen, take it in for what it is, and understand that maybe you are overlooking something here. Right. That's what my grandma used to do. Make a house a home. That was her job. To make a house a home. And to make everything pleasant. She looked good every day. Her money was spent on her, and she looked good every time she stepped out with him, and he was proud. So I don't know what some of these men be talking about. They don't want to pay bills. They don't want to do that. But you want to have a good looking woman. And if you want to have a good looking woman, you got to let her live in her femininity. And she can't do that if she's constantly just in cooking and cleaning and having baby mode. You can't do it all. It's ridiculous. Hey, One Delish, how you doing? You can't do it all. You can try, but you can't do it all. Even my grandma had to take some days off, and my grandpa recognized that and said, hey, you ain't got to cook tonight. We going out to eat. Hey, you don't have to make breakfast this morning. I brought you some breakfast. He would do that all the time. He didn't want his woman slaving in the kitchen every day like that. That was too much. Too much on his heart. He was happy watching her be happy. What outfit? I ain't got no outfit on. I ain't got no outfit. This is not even an outfit. I ain't got no outfit. I'm dressed in a trash bag. This ain't no outfit. I'm about to go to bed. I'm in 4 minutes. I'm going to sleep. I'm closing my eyes. And I'm going to sleep in 4 minutes. Plus my phone about to die anyway. But that was my message for tonight. Be more understanding. Expand your knowledge about other people, other cultures, whatever. Be nice, be respectful, care more. Understand that black people want peace, and that movie Avatar was way too long. Those are all my topics today. You know what I mean? That was all my topics today. My voice is starting to go out. My voice is starting to go out. And I blame that on the Avatar movie because I did a video and I recorded it about 4 or 5 times. So I blame my voice going out on the Avatar, recording that over and over and over again. But anyway, you guys have been great, a great audience. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Care more, be peaceful, have a great morning tomorrow. Wake up with positivity in your heart. Go out and do good. Go out and ask people, what can I do for you to make your day better? You know what I mean? Care more about yourself. Have grace on yourself. What's there to like? I know you ain't come on here at the last minute talking about what's there to like, share, subscribe. You know what's to like, share, subscribe. That's why you came back. Don't make me upset before I get off of here. Don't make me upset before I get off of this joint. I know you ain't coming here talking about ain't no shit going on in here. Why you here then? You need to scroll up. Scroll on up. If ain't nothing going on here, scroll up. Scroll to Jesus. Talking about ain't nothing going on in here. You sure came in here trying to figure out something. There you go, Ward. You right. Yo, you ain't can't set no record straight. Now the conversation is closed because I'm gone. You guys have a great evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can come back for interesting conversations and discussions about whatever is going on. And let me know if you see the Avatar movie. We can compare notes. Let me know if you go see it. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.